Black Uhuru are a Jamaican reggae group formed in 1972, initially as Uhuru. The group has undergone several lineup changes over the years, with Derrick, Duckie, Simpson as the mainstay. They had the most successful period in the 1980s, with their album Anthem winning the first ever Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album in 1985. History. The group formed in the Waterhouse district of Kingston in 1972, initially called simply Uhuru, with a lineup of Garth Dennis, Don Carlos, and Derrick, Duckie, Simpson. The first release was a cover version of Curtis Mayfield's Romancing to the Folk Song, which was followed by Time Is On Our Side. Neither song was a success and they split up, with Carlos pursuing a solo career, as did Dennis, before joining the Wailing Souls. Simpson also briefly worked with the Wailing Souls, before forming a new version of Uhuru with Errol Nelson and Michael Rose, the group now taking the name Black Sounds Uhuru. The Prince Jammy-produced debut album, Love Crisis, was released in 1977. Nelson returned to the Jays in late 1977, and was replaced the following year by Sandra Buma Jones, a social worker from South Carolina, U.S., who had previously worked as a dancer for Ras Michael and Amp, the Sons of Negus, and as a member of the group Mama Africa. The band now took on the most familiar name, Black Uhuru. The group began working extensively with Sly and Robbie, and recorded a string of successful singles, including General Penitentiary, a re-recording of Rose's solo hit Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and Shy Ny Gal, which featured guest guitarist Keith Richards. The group's second album Showcase drew on these singles, and the band cemented their status with a performance at the 1980 Reggae Sunsplash Festival. They planned to record an album with Dennis Brown producing, but this didn't materialize, although two singles, Wood for My Fire and Brand Man, were released. They were signed by Island Records in 1980, who issued the Cinta Miller album to an international audience in 1981. The follow-up, Red, reached number 28 in the UK Albums Chart in 1981. Chill Out reached number 38 a year later, and they toured with the Rolling Stones. In 1989, their album Red was ranked No. 23 on Rolling Stone magazine's list of the 100 greatest albums of the 1980s. Quote, the next studio album, Anthem, appeared in 1984, and won the first ever Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album the following year. Despite this success, Rose left the group to resume his solo career after falling out with Simpson, and was replaced by Junior Reid. They signed to Ras Records and moved in a different direction with the album Brutal and the single, The Great Train Robbery, the latter recorded with New York dance producer Arthur Baker. Although these alienated much of the roots reggae following, Brutal was nominated for a Grammy, and The Great Train Robbery gave them the second UK hit single, reaching number 62. The band began to disintegrate. The next album with Jammy was started but never completed. They stopped working with Sly and Robbie, and Jones left the band due to ill health. Her replacement was Janet Olafunka Reid, and the group returned in 1988 with the Positive album. Reid was unable to obtain a US visa, and unable to tour, left the band, followed shortly by Olafunka. Black Uhuru, now reduced to Simpson alone, had been booked to play at an awards ceremony in California, which coincidentally had original Uhuru members Don Carlos and Garth Dennis on the bill, and they took the opportunity to reunite the original lineup for a performance at the event, and decided to continue afterwards. The Now album followed in 1991, and was also nominated for a Grammy. In 1996 the group fragmented again, with Simpson leaving to tour Europe with dub poet Yasu Zafari. Italy under the name Black Uhuru, while Carlos and Dennis also toured the US under the same name. A legal battle over the name followed, won by Simpson in 1997. Carlos resumed his solo career, while Simpson formed a new lineup of Black Uhuru with Andrew Bees and Jennifer Connelly. Only one album, Dynasty, was released before Bees went back to pursue his solo career in 2003. In February 2004, it was announced in the Jamaican press that Simpson and Michael Rose had reunited under the name Black Uhuru feat. Michael Rose. Together with a female backing singer named K-Star, they released a single, Dollars, and performed at several concerts including Western Consciousness 2004 on the 28th of April in Jamaica, of which a live video was released shortly thereafter. A new album was reported to be in progress, although it was never released. The group toured throughout Europe in 2006. In 2008, Simpson took on lead vocal duties, and the group recorded a new album, As the World Turns, with guest appearances from Latin superstars Atasio Pelados and Jarabi de Palo, although this was still unreleased a year later. A 25th anniversary edition DVD of the Live in London concert was released in June 2008. In 2011 with New Vital Blood, a legendary group featuring Derrick, Duckie, Simpson, Andrew Bees, K-Star, are touring the US first time since 2002 with successful shows and festivals worldwide. Appearances in other media. Black Uhuru's song Great Train Robbery for the album Brutal appears in the Grand Theft Auto San Andreas video game soundtrack on the fictitious radio station KJAR West. Another song, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, appears in the Scarface video game soundtrack and in the movie The Mighty Quinn. The song, Spongy Reggae, was featured briefly on Season 2 of The Cosby Show, when Denise Huxtable and her boyfriend were watching the music video on TV. The song, What Is Life, was featured briefly on Season 4 of Miami Vice. Additionally, Party Next Door was featured in the 1980s movie North Shore. What Is Life was also featured in Season 1, Episode 4 of the American television show Wise Guy, in the episode The Loose Cannon. Discography. Group: Derrick, Duckie, Simpson, Michael Rose, Errol, Tarzan, Nelson. 1977 Love Crisis. 1981 Black Sounds of Freedom. Group: Derrick, Duckie, Simpson, Michael Rose, Sandra Buma Jones, Sly Dunbar, Robbie Shakespeare. 1979 Showcase. 1980 Black Uhuru. 1980 Cinsa Miller. 1981 Red. 1982 Chill Out. 1983 Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. 1983 Anthem. 1985 Reggae Greats. Group: Derrick, Duckie, Simpson, Delroy Jr., Reed, Sandra Buma Jones. 1986 Brutal. Group: Derrick, Duckie, Simpson, Delroy Jr., Reed, Olafunka. 1987 Positive. Group: Derrick, Duckie, Simpson, Garth Dennis, Don Carlos. 1990 Now. 1991 Iron Storm. 1993 Mystical Truth. 1994 Strong. Group: Derrick, Duckie, Simpson, Jennifer Nya, Andrew Bees. 1998 Unification. 2001 Dynasty. Live dub albums. 1982 Uhuru in dub. 1982 Tear It Up Live. 1983 The Dub Factor. 1984 Live. 1986 Brutal Dub. 1987 The Positive Dub. 1988 Live in New York City. 1990 Now Dub. 1990 Love Dub. 1992 Iron Storm Dub. 1993 Mystical Truth Dub. 1994 Strong Dub. 2000 Live. 1984 2001 in dub. 2001 Dub and It Live. 2013 Live in Germany. 1981